Okay, what is up? What is up, gang? This is Dee.
Hey, and it's your girl Chelsea.
And this is another episode of Postpartum Uncut, our safe space to talk about all the things that come with postpartum, even the not so cute and sometimes the nitty gritty. Today's episode, a little heartfelt, but basically we are highlighting and featuring a special group of moms that we haven't acknowledged yet, but we talk about on the channel all the time through Mama Chelsea's experience with having baby girl, and that is being a NICU mom. And so for those of you that are pregnant currently or have experienced a high-risk pregnancy or did have a baby in NICU, you will probably understand or be able to get some insight and relate to a little bit of after we talked to Chelsea about her story and her experience. And you know what? If you found out that you're going to have to be a NICU mom, then this may provide you with a little bit of insight to help you feel a little bit better and prepare you for your experience. Okay, so we're going to dive into these questions. I'm going to talk to Chels about her experience. So the first and foremost thing for anyone that is new here, anyone that don't know this, because it's season 3, so we will do one more recap on Chelsea's very intense birth story to just give like a bullet point list of how we got to the NICU. How we get there, Chelsea?
So basically, I found out I was pregnant at 4.5 months. When I went for the ultrasound, where they do like look at your organs and the anatomy ultrasound, they were like, she's small, 9th percentile. They want 10th or above. And since they didn't have any data on me to know whether maybe just I carry small babies, or if this is actually like a growth restriction issue, I automatically became high risk. Fast forward, I'm at one of my high risk ultrasounds, and my blood pressure was through the roof. So I got admitted. At this point, I'm like 6.5 months. Got really sick within 24 hours and had an emergency C-section. So baby girl was literally like almost 3 months early. And so from there, I was a NICU mom, and she was in NICU for 2 months.
So and like for those of you that don't know, finding out she was pregnant was a whole thing, right? And so like to go immediately from finding out she's pregnant, being pregnant for 10 seconds, and then this experience that she just realized. Like this is the moment that we always talk about when we're like, you just never know. You can never plan for everything. And mamas, like that is okay. That is okay because it happens. It happens across the board in all different kinds of ways. There are things that you are just not going to be prepared for. And like I say all the time on the channel, the biggest part is your support system, who you have holding your hand through these experiences, and even the after effects, because that's traumatic to me. And I get real picky about trauma and how we deal with that and how we heal from it, right? So let's travel backwards into time real quick. Let's describe some of the emotions that you go through when that moment that you're told, because you was chilling, you found out you was pregnant, and then you're going for an appointment and you're like, oh, now I'm all of a sudden high risk. Let's talk about the emotions.
We're talking about at the ultrasound? Like
yeah,
the anatomy ultrasound?
that moment of flipping, like, because you're a nurse too, so you're immediately like, in my head, they feel like you know that there's stuff that's coming with this.
Potentially. Because like the doctor explained, they're not a high risk center, so they want to get better imaging to kind of see what's going on. She said we predict the 9th, but they may say something otherwise. And the 9th is right by the 10th, and the 10th was the cutoff. So I wasn't really panicking at that point. I was like, okay, let's see what they have to say. That was my mentality at that time. I wasn't panicking or anything.
Okay, so then at what moment did anything flip?
It was more so at the first ultrasound at the high risk appointment. It was confirmed that,
like in the high risk center.
yeah, it was confirmed that there may be some growth restriction, but they
Okay.
still weren't exactly 100% willing to say that because they didn't have data to back up what they were seeing. They wanted to like kind of monitor me week by week to say, okay, she's gained half a pound, she's, or X amount of ounces. Like they wanted to see a trend to see what's going on, or if my baby's just stalling, like she's not getting any bigger. But it was still kind of hard, like, to know that there possibly was a growth issue.
So is it like anxiety? Were you a little scared? Was it like...
It was a mixture of all of that because I'm like, of course you think like, did I do something wrong? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Mom
like, wait
guilt.
a minute. Like,
hashtag mom guilt.
Because I mean, I had never heard of this before.
Right.
So I was like, okay, well, and then what can I do to change this? And they're like, if this is really a growth restriction, there's nothing you can really just do on your end to fix it. It's just more so kind of putting a Band-Aid over it will be the next plan. Like just eating more calories,
like managing it.
Yeah, managing what's really going on, but it's not like anything that I can do to reverse the problem.
Or yeah,
I'm gonna have to go through
fix
the
it.
entire pregnancy like this. So that was kind of hard to hear.
And so you found that out how far along again? Like the high risk
like
part.
mid-December. So
Yeah, so
like
okay.
found out I was pregnant beginning of December, and then mid-December I'm already a high risk pregnancy.
So like to know, to one, not be aware that you're pregnant in the first place. Be pregnant and be happy about it for 10 seconds, literally. And then to go, dang, now it's like war zone. I feel like that's like a mom thing and the type of person you are. Like just that, put on that battle suit of like, all right, I gotta suit up and boot up and get ready for whatever the hell is about to happen with this.
I really didn't have a choice. It was either sulk about it,
right,
or just
Suck
roll
up
with the punches and kind of just do what you have to do. And that's kind of more the approach I took.
Okay. So with that, I think, and I'm big on my soft girl era right now with the healing journey, right? We talk about all of this. So how hard is that balance? Because we talk about hormones too in those moments where you just need to sit down and cry. Like balancing out having to put on that mom armor versus those moments where you about to break down. How did you deal with that? How did you manage that?
I really don't even think... I teared up in the room when the doctor was talking to us a little bit, but I was just like, okay. And then after that, I really didn't even have a moment of breaking down because it literally was only like a month after that before I had her. So it wasn't even really a lot of time to break down because I immediately went into go mode because I had to catch up for 4.5 months of not knowing.
Right, you had to get your stuff and...
Yeah, so I think my mind kind of was off of it. And then every time I went, she was gaining weight per what they needed her to do.
Okay.
So she still was like, of course, the further along you get, you're supposed to weigh this or they want you to weigh this.
Right.
She didn't like overcompensate where now she's just a big baby, but she was constantly gaining weight where they're not concerned about her health and development.
Let's be real, she's not losing weight. She's not being stagnant.
Exactly.
There's still a heart rate. We good.
Yeah, and she's gaining weight. Like every time I went, she had gained like 5 ounces, 8 ounces, whatever, so they were cool. I said, okay. That's all I need to hear.
I feel like that kind of happened for you on purpose because you're the type of person that can be in your head for most of the conversation. So like to not have that some people just don't need time to think about stuff. Some people just do not need that time to sit and think. And some people need time to sit still and listen to some of the things and process. So it is kind of interesting how things do play out even in a not so cute situation, like in your favor.
And I think too, Dad is the same way. Like he has like a poker face. So I'm looking at him and he looking at me and we both kind of like, well, neither one of us like gonna break down.
Right.
So it's just like, okay, well, it is what it is.
Like, you good? Yeah, as good as I can be.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm good too. All right, let's move on.
Yeah, pretty much.
I feel you there. I feel you. Being in the room after the delivery, what does that look like? What does it sound
Being
like?
in the NICU room?
Well, actually, like, once that baby comes out, right? We know in a high risk situation that there's probably going to be some aftercare immediately with that baby. So, like, and you talked about like a room switch at some point. So just like that, those first moments right after you
So
had her.
basically, I wasn't awake. I was under anesthesia. So
Okay.
when she was born, I don't know. My first memory of what was going on was me waking up in the recovery room after my surgery. Because generally, most C-sections that go according to plan, you're awake during the C-section. So you still get to hear your baby cry for the first time. Even if it is a NICU baby and they have it like sectioned off, like this side of the partition is where the NICU team is, you still get to see all that. I didn't see any of that because I was under.
Right.
So I woke up in the recovery room. People are telling me she's fine. And I'm like, okay. And then I really don't even completely remember this because, like I said, I was under anesthesia. So I'm like drugged up at this point. But they wheeled me down there on their stretcher to her room. And luckily the nurse took photos of it. Like I have photos of me like putting my hand through the box to like touch her.
I love that.
And I have like the oxygen on and I'm just kind of like laying there like this. Like I don't 100% remember all of that. I kind of do, but it's like a little fuzzy. So having those pictures really helps.
So I like this tidbit because that might be like a pro tip. I would consider that a pro tip for, I just found out I'm a NICU mom, and that's something to know.
Yeah.
Like, you may not have the opportunity to have those first moments the way that you think you're going to have them in your head. And I think that's the real thing about our channel, is just helping you set better expectations for what you're about to experience. And I think that's been the biggest problem, is we just didn't know, one, what to expect. And then if stuff like this pops up, how do you even deal with that? And the best way that you can.
I did know I was going to be a NICU mom, though. I did know that beforehand because when I got admitted, the NICU team came and talked to me, which kind of threw me off. I was like, how serious is this? Because why are y'all talking to me about a NICU baby? She's not even born. So that kind of was like a red flag, like, this might not end well. And so like the NICU like team came in and talked to me, and so like the next morning after I got really sick, they did tell me I'm having a baby early, and I knew then she was gonna be in the NICU. Just how long was the question,
right? So while we're talking about that, that actually leads me into my next question: is how long was baby girl in the NICU, and then did you have any support from other moms during that time besides your mom?
So she was in the NICU for 2 months exactly. She was born on the 27th of January and discharged on March 27th. So literally 2 months in the NICU. Yeah, there's definitely support from other parents, period, like dads and moms, because it's like you pass by these people every day. Like, it's like ICU set up where, like, the rooms are clear, like the glass rooms. So you can look in anybody's room at any time and see what they're doing with their baby. And so, like, they also put the baby names on the door. So I remember there was a baby Dakota right across from us. So I always be like, how's baby Dakota doing today? And, like, they would ask about baby girl. And, yeah, so you become a community, and then when they discharge, you're happy for them, but then you're also wondering when it's going to be your turn
my turn
to leave. But yeah, so she was in there for 2 months, and yeah, so it's a support system amongst all the other parents because you're in the same boat ish. I'm gonna say ish because
everyone's situation is different.
Yeah, because actually we were fortunate that she wasn't super sick. Like, the nurses even said, we fight over your baby because she's not like one of the other sicker babies that we have on the unit, and blah blah blah. I was like, oh, yeah, fight over my baby. Thank you.
Right.
So we were blessed in that department that it wasn't like she was on a vent or had cardiac arrest at any point. It was never anything like that. So that's good.
Well, that is good to hear. The other thing that I want to talk about is the preparation, right? We talked about, like, you can never fully be prepared, especially for emergency situations and unexplored territory, right? Like, that was all uncharted. But was there anybody in your circle, like anybody, that could give you any insight as to what you were potentially going to deal with when you found out you were going to have a NICU baby?
I really didn't even reach out to anybody to ask for any information or help. I did have a coworker that had a NICU baby, but I didn't even really have a heart to heart or like dive too much into that conversation with her until after the fact. And then her godmom, her son wasn't a NICU baby, but he definitely had a lot of complications where she was in and out of the hospital with him for the first like maybe 3-4 years of life. So I did see that journey kind of firsthand and what that was like, and all the, like the stress it puts on the parents, the toll it takes on them, just trying to figure out work, FMLA, how do I do this, how do I do that. So I had that kind of knowledge, but not a NICU one-on-one.
Right. Well, and then this is the thing we didn't talk about in this, because that's the part. You leave the baby at the hospital and go home. So, like, that had to be hard at some point, right?
It was like bittersweet, or like a catch-22 moment, because Dad and I really didn't need that 2 months to get our affairs in order, since we kind of I don't want to say robbed of 3 months of preparation, but
you kind of robbed.
Yeah, you know.
You were kind of robbed.
So that part, like trying to be positive, was helpful, because we were able to kind of wrap our brains around what just happened, and then like I said, kind of get some things in order. But it was hard leaving my baby, I guess, in strangers' hands every night. Like I didn't,
a fresh baby too.
Yeah, that was really hard. And then just having to rely on them. I mean, everybody was great, but I'm just saying, having to rely on them and just hope that they took care of her like they were supposed to overnight. But shout out to my parents, because we almost did this in shifts. Like I would be there. I would be there in the mornings, a lot of times mornings to afternoons, and then sometimes Dad and I would go up there when he got off work, and then my parents would come like night shift. Basically, they would be there. My dad would get off work like 7 or 8, and they would be there from like that time to like 1 or 2 in the morning, and then they would go home, and they did that every single day.
Yeah, you got some dedicated grandparents right there for that baby, because
in the NICU. And his mom would come too, and she would come out maybe like 3-4 days out the week and like sit there and spend time with her too. So she always had pretty much somebody in the room, except from like 3 a.m. to like 9, 8 or 9. That. So yeah, she definitely had a lot of people watching over her.
Somebody was watching over her. Okay. Well, I do, and I love that for y'all too, because that I feel like gives it even easier peace of mind while you're getting your ish together at home, because those still moments are still time to think. So I love that for you guys. We're gonna end this on a really cute note. I would love for you to give advice to anybody that is watching, any words of encouragement, or like how we always say, we want to pay this information forward. So let's say there is a mom out there that is trying to get some insight on NICU life and what to expect and prepare for. Do you have any words of encouragement or advice?
I definitely would say, like I said, it's a pro and con to having a NICU baby. So if you are in this situation, I know it's not easy, but I definitely would take advantage of the moments that you are able to step away and just try to refocus, take some deep breaths, maybe take a bath, do whatever you have to do to mentally reset, because it's like you already are under so much more stress than like how it would be if it was a normal delivery and I take my baby home, because it's like your baby's fighting for their life. You know what I'm saying? You don't know when you wake up the next day, or you'll get a phone call that she's declined, or he or she is declined. So definitely don't be afraid or feel bad, is what I'm trying to say, for taking that home time that you have seriously and just trying to get your affairs in order, having a mental reset, drinking a glass of wine if you can, because it's like, it's already stressful enough, because you're already stressing over hospital bills that you know are coming. It's already a hassle trying to fill out all the paperwork. You're probably trying to recover yourself because you probably had an emergency C-section. You know what I'm saying? There's just so much. So don't be shy or feel bad or have like mom guilt for using that time for yourself.
Not to mention other things that you're going through. If you're like me and worked until the end of the pregnancy, if you're still dealing with work, if you're going through things at home with loved ones, or if there's external factors in this, like that can add to stress. So we always support taking that time to refill your cup for all the reasons, right? But here's your friend D, the wellness lady, to also remind you guys to ask for help, even if it's hard, even if you don't know how to just be like, I'm dealing with something that's really heavy and I need help. I need help carrying it. And then leave it to that person to say, how can I help you? Right? But like find where you could use some sort of assistance, right? Where if it's like, I need my groceries picked up. Can you pick up my Target order for me? Sure, girl. Drop it off on your porch, right? Like it'd be little stuff like that, even that we sometimes like don't think about to ask for. So, if there is something heavy that you're dealing with in your pregnancy, please reach out for support. Do the research that you need to do. There are people that you can, if you got it like that and you don't have like available resources, you can always find there are people that do odd jobs and assistance. And hello, we talked about doulas, postpartum and prenatal all the time. So like support is available if we look for it. We just got to know what we need. So thank you for sharing that experience again, because in season 3 we've talked about it a few times now.
Yeah, I think it's also important to know real quick too is that you're just not alone. I feel like you feel alone in this process because it's like how you just said, how she asked me, did you know anybody with this experience? And I had to really think hard. That's not an everyday experience,
right? So
you do sometimes feel alone, like, well, that's not most of my friends' journey. So like, yeah, right. I don't have anybody to really talk about this with because they won't completely understand. And it's not that they can't be empathetic towards you, but if they're not in your shoes and they didn't have this happen to them, they won't ever 100% completely understand you.
Right.
But like she said, your village is here to support you. There's other NICU mommies in the pod if you really just need to talk or vent to somebody, because they will understand. And then another thing, just don't blame yourself.
Oh my God, I love that. Don't blame yourself. Yeah.
Because I think it's easy to do that. You're like, what's wrong with my body? What did I do wrong? Like,
right.
But life happens.
Sometimes
you can do everything perfectly.
Stuff just happens.
And it just is I guess it's like your turn to have some sort of life experience. I don't know.
It's your turn to deal with some stuff.
Yeah, so just don't blame yourself.
I love that. So yeah, shout out to all the NICU moms out there. We are praying for y'all. We support y'all. And y'all are stronger than you think. Promise. Anybody that is a NICU mom has dealt with a NICU situation, or you know, we're gonna drop some support for the NICU moms. So I want everyone to drop like, go NICU mamas if you are not one, and if you are one, you better represent for yourself.
Say I'm one.
I am a NICU mom, team boy mom, team girl mom, whatever. But hashtag NICU moms. Let's give some love and support to those that are waiting for their babies to come home, baby. Okay, this has been like a special little episode of Postpartum Uncut featuring the NICU Mom Squad. We will be back for another discussion another week from now. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you stay tuned. Make sure you tune in next week, and we will see y'all next time.
Love y'all.
Bye.